Would you like?
It's a new day, Newnan. Yes, it is. And I am the daddy who is a baddie, the king of rock and troll, the guy with the third eye,
You can
Harold.
picture.
And with me today, as always, but not always, sometimes, is the one and only adorably adorable, sweet little baby angel from Peachtree City.
It's a me, a Harriet.
Ooh, I don't like that at all. Take it back.
Okay, you. It's me, Harriet.
Yeah, way better, way better. Way better. And today we had planned to do the Newnan National Anthem, but I was going through the national anthem, the song, and there's a lot. It's a long song.
That's just too much.
And I thought, okay, so we should definitely do an episode where we come up with and sing a new national anthem, but to completely improvise it, and I feel like that's going to be a long episode.
That would be quite a lot in one sitting there.
But we could be like, oh, say, can you drive through the roundabouts tonight? There's like 200, and there's still so much traffic. And when you pass Waffle House, I think I'm singing it wrong. Um,
Close. I think that sounds right.
I think I skipped. I
There's like
sk-
another verse, I think, and then it goes
Yeah.
roundabout. Yeah.
Well, we can't just do roundabout. That's the problem. I don't want to just make roundabout jokes. 'Cause the property tax so high. Oh, say are the apartments so high in the air. When I say I am Harold, they say I do not care. So maybe we just did it, but I don't think so. I think I can do better. I think we can do better.
Yeah, we can do better. We can do better.
So we will do that. That will happen, but we're on a smidgy bidgy bit of a time crunch today. So instead, today we're talking some local ghost stories. If you've been to, thank you. If you've been to noonantimewithharold.com, you will find that sometimes we post ghost stories and we talk about how believable it is and how scary it is. So we're going to do that here live on this podcast episode. We're going to read some ghost stories, some local spooks, and we're going to talk about if we feel the spook. Ooh, belly dancing ghost.
Your belly, they just see shoulders, and people who are listening can't even see that. Just picture it.
There's
Picture Harold belly dance.
stand up and belly dance.
I can't do this. I'm against a wall.
Oh, never mind. You're trapped. That's right. You are trapped.
Here,
You...
this is my hand. This is my belly. It's just moving around.
Oh, gross. Oh.
You asked for this.
Oh.
Oh, look at that belly dancing from Harold.
Water break to rinse out the vomit.
Yes, for those listening, just picture Harold belly dancing. That is the visual that you will get for today.
Ah, there we go. Perfect. This episode is brought to you by Blue Dream. Blue Dream Newnan. Let's talk about Blue Dream Newnan. You've never been, right?
I have never been, but I have heard many great things.
Oh, what happened to my? I thought I had their. Oh, yes, 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 yes. You can find Blue Dream Noonan on Facebook, Instagram. I don't think they have a website. You can find our review on Blue Dream. In fact, if you search Blue Dream Vape Shop Noonan, the third result that will come up is our review. And you'll hear all kinds of wonderful things from us about them. We went there about a month or so ago, me and my partner what does he call himself? Sharpsburg Sam and my girlfriend. Yep. We went and met them. They were super sweet. My girlfriend actually knew the owner or the manager. She knew him from the past, from things, and she was like, he's great. He's a great fella. You're gonna love him. And I did love them. They were both very, very kind. And I think the most interesting thing, or not most interesting, but the best thing about them is their Google score. based on Google reviews, based on 444 reviews, is a 4.9.
Ooh.
Like, yes, you can get better than that, but geez, is that difficult? That is such a excellent, excellent score. I can't think of the last time I have seen a score that close to a 5.
No, I think the highest I've seen is like a 4.7, but the fabled point 2 has been achieved.
Yeah, and I won't read their lowest because there's no reason to. There's not many. There's someone complaining about malfunctioning. And if you buy a product and it malfunctions, that is not the fault of the little local vape shop. That's a manufacturing can I say that word? Manufacturing
Yeah.
manufacturing issue. So sometimes that happens. But look, some of these reviews, this is from a month ago. Stopped by today for my first time, and I must say that Clay and Yang were more than great to me with helping me find all the things I needed. I even purchased a few things that I haven't seen in any of the other hookah stores I've been in. Great customer service men. I'll definitely be back! Exclamation marks. And that's what you're going to find. You're going to find lots of exclamation marks. They're going to talk more about the employees and how super helpful and patient. Definitely will keep coming back. This shop is by far my favorite. Always good product, always helpful service. And that was our experience. Even when we were there interviewing them, anytime a customer came in, one of them would zoom over there and help them out. They kept it flowing. They answered every question we had. Just an all around great place. And I'm not even a vapor, but it's just a nice place to be. It's got an energy about it. It's got a vibe about it. The music was loud. That was like my one complaint was like, hey, the music's a little loud, but such a clean place, such a interesting place. There's so many products there that you wouldn't even think exist, but it exists in the world of vapage.
The world of vapage. Well, it sounds delightful.
You would not want to get anything there because you don't smoke or chew edibles or do anything even
But,
slightly.
but you know what I'm there for? Loud music.
You are, yeah, it's true. But it's sparkly and shiny and everything looks cool. It's just a neat place to be. They have posters. That's where I bought you the My Hero Academia poster.
It's so good. People should go there and get posters, strictly posters.
Right, right. Lots of posters. They've got a whole thing of posters because if you're gonna vape, you're gonna want to look at a poster. Everybody knows that.
Nothing
Now,
better than vaping while looking at Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia.
now coming up in September over at Blue Dream Vape is their last big sale for THCA because in just a little bit, that's not going to be available in Georgia anymore. So in your first weekend of September, the last big sale for THCA, almost everything in the store will have some kind of sale. There's going to be some more specifics coming later this month, and we'll get those to you. But if you need to get your THCA fix and you need a place to go, the place to go is the Big Dream O, which is not called Big Dream O. Do not search. It's called Blue Dream O. And it's not called Blue Dream O. It's just called Blue Dream Newnan. I'm trying to make rhymes and I realize that I am trash at rhymes.
Oh no.
So tell me, Harriet, what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you in the world?
Ooh. I think if I have any like actual haunted ghost stories. I do have a vivid memory of when I was like, heck, probably like 5 years old. I was laying in bed with my mom and I was like super like just woken up from like being asleep. So it was like middle of the night. Probably if there was an actual like clock nearby, probably would have been like 5 a.m. And I remember just seeing like the door open and just like a person made of literal like light, like a glowing being just walking towards me. So then I just closed my eyes, went back to bed. I was done. Looking back on it, I'm pretty sure it was somebody was opening the door and come and bring me back to my bed. But I was just like, nope, not dealing with that. We're done.
Did you wake up in your bed?
I think I did. I don't remember. I just remember a glowing being made of light. And I have some. I had a friend too that
Had a friend. Oh no.
It was a friend that I kind of lost contact with over
The
time, but
ghost got him.
the ghost got her. But they told me about like an old house they used to live in. They swear they saw like people wearing like Victorian clothes just walking around, and when they were like asleep, they'd see them just at the edge of the room. I'm like, don't know how much of that I believe, but that sounds creepy, but also kind of cool. Like, ask them about a guillotine. I don't know.
That's the thing about ghost stories is there's some versions of ghost stories I'm like, all right, shut the heck up. Like when it's, oh, I was laying in bed, then my dog started barking randomly. Like the idea that your dog can't just be annoying and and bark when it shouldn't be barking. Oh, my cats stare at something in the corner. They see something. Guys, cats can do dumb things, and sometimes cats my cat has been playing with a Q-tip for the last like month and it doesn't get tired of the Q-tip. If you're gonna play with a Q-tip for a month, you'll probably stare at a wall and be excited.
I,
But go ahead.
I say, I mean, speaking as a person who has a little 4 pound yapping dog, they bark at nothing.
Yes, if your reason for believing in ghosts is animal related in the slightest, then you are a fool, a real life purebred fool. With that said, there are so many ghost stories, and there have been so many ghost stories for so long in the world, even going back to the Bible, where the Bible talks about ghosts and seeing things and visions and whatnot, that it makes it hard to say that it's all bullcrap, that it's probably just everyone in the world is convincing themselves of something that doesn't exist. But it makes it more interesting for sure.
It's like there's that certain element of to me the best kind of ghost stories are the ones that leave you questioning at the end. Like they don't over explain the ghost. They just leave you with like an ending where you're just like, wait, what happened? What do you
Right.
no?
But
Yeah.
if you saw a ghost and you recognize them immediately, does that still count? Or I guess those probably are more so your mind playing tricks on you and you having a problem with moving on. Like if you're seeing a relative that died and you keep like seeing them and
Yeah,
talking
like
to
in a
them.
crowd. And there's people that look like other people. Like, oh, there is a story. Like I was like sitting at home and I was off work. I was just hanging out, like, playing video games in my room. But my friend calls me and she's like, hey, are you at a gas station right now? I was just like, I look down, I'm like, no, I don't think so. But she's like, I swear you are here and you're in your car. This is your car and it looks just like you. You're not at the gas station. You're like you're serious. And I was like, no. Like, am I holding a phone? No. But she and like another one, my coworker, had just seen someone that looked just like me. And I will say, one time my mom also showed me a picture of somebody. I don't know if they lived in Georgia. It was just a picture. She showed me a picture, and I thought she was showing me an old picture of myself. My hair looked really weird. I was like, when did I have like bad dark brown of hair when I was younger? But like I was just sitting there, I think like playing with Legos or something. It was some picture, and she's just like, look, and I'm like, cool. I was having fun that day. She's like, this isn't you. So everyone's got like a look-alike around. So I wonder if a lot of those ghost stories where they're like they see a relative or they see someone that they've lost, like if it's someone they just looked a lot like them. This is kind of the point I was getting there.
God, I was wondering what your point was. Now,
It's a
okay.
roundabout kind of story.
So do you believe in ghosts?
I I don't know. I don't think I truly believe in like a ghost, like just walk around looking like a human. I could believe that there's some kind of residual energy of something, but like I don't know about like a full-fledged, like vivid image of a person who's out to get somebody like a vengeful spirit.
Yeah, I don't believe in any of it. I think that the human brain is real mean and dumb and plays tricks on us and gives us nightmares and makes us believe that people love us and things like that, when none of that is true. Oh boy, ain't none of that true. So, that's what I think I believe. But if a story is good enough, I'll believe the story. I definitely don't think you can be religious and believe in ghosts, which I know maybe you have evidence otherwise, but it would be hard to believe that. when you die, you go to heaven or hell, except sometimes you go to neither, and you have to live in an old home and float
Uh,
around until you do one more thing. Or any version of where instead of going to heaven or hell or purgatory, even that you are kept on earth, just you, not everybody.
all right, just you in a house. Yeah. You're at the gates of like heaven or hell, and they're just like, say you got two options.
They're like, wait a minute, you died on an old pirate ship? Sorry, you don't get to go to heaven or hell. You've got to go haunt.
They're like, hey, we're
Ooh.
running out of people for our haunted house like quota. We're gonna need to send you down there for just like 2 centuries. You can come back, but you gotta do something first.
Now let's see, because what we're going to do now is we're going to read some ghost stories. And these ghost stories might make us believe. These are local. These are from people. We won't talk about who said them. But here we go. I'm going to read this first one. This first one is called Shadow of a Little Kid, which sounds like a bad like indie rock song. One summer I went up to Georgia to stay with some family and babysit. One night with my cousin, Aiden, and I were getting ready for bed in his room. We had to fix the sheet because he had spilled crumbs all over the bed. He got on one side of the bed and I was on the other side of the bed. We both tucked the sheet back in under the mattress. So far, this may be my favorite story I've ever read. Just absolutely thrilling.
Crumbs.
Suddenly, movement by the door caught our eyes. We both looked towards the door and a shadow appeared. Ooh, this is kind of like your story about the shadow.
Ooh, it's the same person or the same shadow.
The same shadow. There can be only
Except it
one.
was a person of light, so it's like the opposite.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Be quiet. It ran across the hallway, seemingly from his sister's room to his parents' room, then ran out of their room. In a way, it seemed like it was running back to his sister's room, but instead saw me or us and stopped. It just stood in the doorway of his room. We both stared, trying to figure out what it was. Our first theory was one of his little sisters, but the shadow was black, pitch black. It couldn't have been an actual person. We both got really freaked out and were arguing on who should close the door. As this fight went on, the shadow disappeared. Still freaked out, we threw many blankets towards the door to try to get it closed. The one I threw was too short, so I made Aiden get up to close it. He walked halfway to the door and threw the blanket. It worked. The door closed. We both tried forgetting what happened and went to bed fine that night. In the morning, we told Aiden's stepdad what happened. He told us about a similar story he had that included a shadow but standing next to his bed. We didn't know what to think. After I came back down to Florida, I asked if any more ghost experience had occurred, and they said no, nothing at all. So to this day, it is still a mystery.
Ooh. So yeah, the shadow. I think my favorite part of that story was they were like, "There's this shadow. We're terrified." You open the door. You close the door. They're just sacrificing their brother, and also the fact that they think closing the door for a creature made of shadow is gonna do something. Like what? I want to know the defense process there.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So I
How
couldn't
do
have just like
you
opened the door.
how do you feel about ghost stories where two people are able to confirm that it happened?
I think that if it's in the same place and they were around the same age, that if it's like a creature shadow, for instance, if you're in the same place and it hasn't changed much structurally, and there is a kind of reflecting light or a shadow, like, maybe a certain time of night, the light hits a certain way on the window and it can reflect a kind of human looking shape. I think that that's very plausible that two people saw two very similar things. And as you get older too, you lose more of the memory and you fill in more of those gaps with what you think it was, and that kind of slowly becomes the actual memory you have. I think then you're more likely to believe like, oh, that's exactly what I saw, what you said, because it sounds kind of like what I remember. So I think it's having two people, it helps to kind of corroborate, but I think it is one of those things where if it's in the same circumstance, same age, it's very plausible they saw two things that looked very similar.
Well, and in this one, the stepfather also says that he has seen a shadowy figure, but his isn't about being in the hallway. His was at the corner or bedside.
Yeah, that could almost be more plausible because if it's different times of day, and depending on how vivid this shadow was, if it was like a full 3D flowing like creature that was reaching out to him, that's a different story. But if it was just like I saw a vaguely humanoid shape towards my bed, I feel like that could also be just shadow sitting at a different time.
See, I wish I had a ghost story, like a time. The only time I've ever felt like that there might be ghosts is when I was high, and I don't think that's a good reflection
Yeah,
of when you should be judging for ghosts.
the ghosts are like, yeah, dude, you're one of us now.
But like just recently, after going to the wonderful Blue Dream in Newnan, I got high legally, and then I thought I saw like a big black snake come across the floor and then go into the bathroom. A ghost snake, as you would say. Turns out I didn't. Turns out I just needed to go to sleep. How would you rate this from A to F? What grade would you give this ghost story?
I'm gonna give it an A minus. The minus is because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how plausible is a little shadow creature. It gets an A plus for the extreme detail on there were crumbs in the bed for some reason. Like they didn't have to go into detail over that for this ghost story, but they did, and I appreciate that imagery. And also the fact that the best defense I've learned now for shadow ghosts is throw mini blankets, like, and apparently they had a lot of mini blankets, but throw those at a door to close it, and if that doesn't work, sacrifice your brother.
See, I actually really did appreciate the little details, like why they were fixing the sheets, which then led into why they had all these blankets, because we're already talking about all the sheets being off the bed so they can get the bed ready. So they have all these blankets ready. I think that was a good setup to the fact that when you're that scared, all you can think to do is just try to get that door closed. You know, it might not work, it might not make the ghost go away, it might come right through that door. It might make it worse somehow, but you're so panicked. And what you have is the only thing that they didn't mention that was used later are the crumbs. So I think the story was pretty smart in the way it's set up. This is about a bed and making a bed and blankets. Then it becomes our only defense is the bed and the blankets. I like that a lot. So yeah, I'd give it a solid A. I wish we had more on how they felt when it came to the ghost. I
Did
think
not.
that would have helped. Like I would like to know what Aiden felt, what the cousin felt, what the stepdad all felt, not just what they saw, but the actual structure of this little ghost story. Really like it. I think that it's spooky. I think telling that ghost story because it takes somewhere safe. Safe is your bedroom, and it makes it scary, and that is delightful. So good job, ghost story. Good job.
Good job. I'm applauding for people who can't see me.
Oh, you are? I'm pointing to the sky. So yeah, that's right. If you're
Good
not
job.
watching our video, yeah, yeah. All right, you have a ghost story to read us, don't you?
I do, and then just for dramatic effect, I'm not even sure if it's gonna pick up my mic, but we're gonna add some reverb because all ghosts speak with an echo. If they
That's very
don't, they're not
true.
real ghosts. This one is called "Was Dad Only in My Dream?" And we're gonna begin the story with this is about my dad who passed away in October of 2011 at the very young age of 65. Here is a little background about my father. My childhood was wonderful. My dad did everything he could to make us happy. He would give us his last dollar if he needed to. He was a very wonderful man. My parents divorced when I was about 9 or so, which caused my mother, sister, and I to move an hour away. I was heartbroken. Not only were my parents not together anymore, but now I couldn't see my dad as much as I was used to. Regardless of the distance, though, we stayed very close. My dad never remarried and was very depressed over everything that had happened with him and my mom, and he was also diagnosed with diabetes when I was about 12.
Oh
His
no.
there. Oh man, this one's about Harold. Oh my
I'm
god.
right. We're talking about divorce. We're talking about well, I don't know. This one said he's a good dad, so no, that's not really about me.
See, and were you ever 12? It's about I was 12.
I was 12. I was 12. My
Oh,
parents didn't get a divorce till I was 17.
yeah.
So we good there, baby.
I'm gonna go back to my non-echoey voice until ghosts are mentioned. But I always did what I could to take care of my dad. He remained in the same trailer that he bought when he married my mom over 30 years ago until about 5 months prior to his death.
I
When
lived
he
in a trailer too. Oh shit.
oh, when he was living with my aunt in Florida, she was always trying to get him to live with her. But my dad was very stubborn. In parentheses, like most men. Haha.
I am stubborn too. Oh shit.
Oh, it's about you. Oh, he said he didn't want to live with her because she was bossy. I always told my dad it would be for the better, but you can't change the mind of a stubborn older man. He has a lot of pride, but I couldn't blame him. He didn't want to be away from us. To kind of shorten the story, my dad's memory started going downhill fast. He was arrested last May for breaking and entering. The charges were later dropped. Apparently, a little boy came to my dad's house late one night and asked him to help to get into his house that he was locked out of. This was strange to me because the boy would have to pass three other houses to get to my dad's house. My father also had never seen the boy before, but my dad was a very kind and innocent man who would help anyone. He also knew that the house was vacant because the man who lived there owed him money and he was in jail for other charges. But after this happened, my aunt came to get my dad. She gave him no choice this time and said that he was too senile to live alone any longer. Although it made me very sad to see my dad leave, I knew that I wouldn't have to worry about him as much because he would have someone taking care of him after he moved, though his health began to decline dramatically. I spoke to my dad often. He wouldn't remember calling me that day and would call me several times a day and say the same things. I always talked to him like we hadn't spoken already. I didn't want him to think he was getting old. Plus, I loved talking to my dad, but my dad had a way of never telling me what was wrong because he didn't want me to worry. My aunt, however, would. She called me one day and said that my father was diagnosed with lung cancer. Good grief, this guy's going through some stuff.
Yeah,
It
baby.
was, dang, it was quickly spreading to his body. The next few months are a blur. Chemo couldn't help him because it was so bad. The conversations between my father and myself were limited. He couldn't remember anything. I visited as often as I could, but it wasn't often enough. The last time I saw my dad, it was in the hospice facility. He didn't even know who I was. It was very hard on me because we were so close, but before we left, I asked him to give me that wink. It's always been our thing. After I said that, he immediately winked at me. A week later, my father passed. I wasn't there, and it made me feel incredibly sad. Not that he had passed, but because I knew he was now healed, but that I wasn't there for him in his time of need. Ooh, I didn't dream about my father for the longest time, but a few months ago, I finally did. In my dream, I was in his house looking for him. I couldn't find him anywhere. Then, when I looked in front of me, there was this white fog. I knew it was him. It was his stature back when he was strong. He hugged me. In my dream, I was crying and still calling for him. Well, I woke myself up calling his name and crying. I was saying, Daddy, Daddy. At this point, I realized,
Daddy.
Daddy. That's how he was saying it.
Father.
Father of mine. Father, art thou? That's exactly what they put in the story. At this point, I realized I was dreaming, but I also felt this pressure on the back of my upper arm. I'm
Ooh.
oh, in parentheses, I'm a stomach sleeper. It was strong but gentle and felt like someone holding my arm.
Hold on, hold on. No one's a stomach sleeper. She an infant?
She could be. She never specified. Wait, oh no, she did specify her age. She's at least older than 12.
Ain't nobody sleep on their stomach. That's crazy. That's the one part of this story I don't believe so far.
But there's more, but there's more. Once I fully came to, the pressure went away. I felt so peaceful though. To me, it was like my dad knew I was having a bad dream and came to me to say, "It's okay, sweetie." In parentheses, that's what he always called me. Um, I went back to sleep.
Sweetie. Wink, sweetie. Wink.
Oh no.
Where's
Oh.
my insulin, sweetie? Wink. Not that I'm making fun of someone's dead relative.
Oh.
We don't know if this story is even true.
That's true.
especially because of the stomach sleeper part.
As a stomach sleeper, they don't exist. I went back to sleep and woke up later feeling really well. I know this isn't really a ghost story, but it's something similar to me. Like he's my guardian angel now. I miss my dad so much. If you read this, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I would love to hear similar stories. God bless. And that is the end of was dad only in my dream?
Hmm. That
Hmm.
one, an amazing story for starters.
Very, very well told.
Written expertly. Love all the setup. Love the uncertainty of was it even a ghost or was it just I'm finally seeing him in my dreams. The timing of feeling the touch. Granted, when you're asleep, a lot of times you think you feel a touch and you do not. But the timing, that's really, I
Yeah.
don't believe that it was his ghost, but that's definitely the human brain being like, hey, he is gone, but he's still part of you, and he'll be in your heart. Yeah, he'll be in your heart. What's the Tarzan song? Am I singing it?
I don't know what the song is. I was just going with you.
You don't know You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins?
I don't think so. I'll listen to it after this.
All right, you start looking up the lyrics real quick.
Okay.
Story. Yeah, really good. Lots of good information. I wish, again, same as the other one. I wish we talked more about their feelings on how it made them feel after they saw them in the dream and they were touched. Like, how did the possibility of it being a ghost make them feel? I wish they would have dived more into. Just spend more time on that than talking about health issues.
Yeah, it's like it's good to have that set up, but tell us how it affects person. Because I feel like with storytelling, you have to, for a story that's about you and your life, you have to add that personal element so that the I guess the audience can kind of connect with you and the story kind of resonates. Because if you tell your feelings, people can relate to how they felt if they went through something similar.
So as a ghost story, I give it like a C.
Yeah, because it's not really about a ghost. I'd probably give it like a, I don't know, I'll give it, yeah, I guess as a ghost story C, it's like a kind of haunty, like otherworldly type thing. I'll give it like a solid B.
Yeah, I think as a story altogether, great. Give it an A, but it needs.
Otherworldly element, it would need a little more like again that uncertainty or like that was it something otherworldly? Not I think it was just my brain, like kind of ended it there.
But I think that there are probably people that hear that story now and they're like, "Hey, that kind of happened to me," and then something more happened. So it's probably a good setup to people talking more about it. But I have never heard of a grown up who is a stomach sleeper, and I can't let that go. That is going to haunt me and give me an experience with a ghost. And it's going to be a ghost that sleeps on its stomach. And so when I walk in, it looks like a cat sleeping on its stomach, but it's a person, and I'm going to vomit all over it.
Okay, but we talked about pets seeing ghosts. What if your pet is the ghost? They just don't. They are the ghost. That's why they're stomach sleepers. Because people who are only things that are dead can sleep on their stomach.
See, I don't think I believe that the souls exist. Sometimes I feel really religious and still connected to religion, and I'm like, you know what? Probably is God, probably is souls, probably not heaven or hell in the terms that we think about it, but there's probably an afterlife. But most of the time, I'm like, nah, whatever. We're just here to exist on Earth and then we're gone forever. So the idea that your animal can be a ghost is, I mean, I guess if humans can be ghosts, then an animal can be a ghost. Just the idea that everything I do, there's a dead guinea pig ghost like watching me, that pisses me off.
Oh no, not the guinea pigs. And they're so judgmental too.
Right? Just watching me all naked, thinking about how tiny and ugly my penis is. No, thank you.
Yes, because that is every guinea pig's first thought.
Like, yeah, look at that guy. He's not packing nothing. He looks like a hamster.
When they become ghosts, they learn how to speak in English too.
Well, that's my interpretation of this.
Oh, I'm so
All right, do you have the lyrics?
Yeah, I do. I do. I pulled them up.
All right, go ahead and sing that for us.
Oh, I don't know the. Okay, I'll make up a tune.
Make up the tune.
Uh, Come stop your crying. It will be all right. Just take my hand. Hold it tight. I will protect you. From all around you, I will be here. Don't you cry for one so small, like a guinea pig. You seem so strong, my arms will hold you, keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. I will be here. Don't you cry, 'cause you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart from this day on, now and forevermore. You'll be in my heart. No matter what they say, you'll be here in my heart always.
Sure,
That's
yeah, that's exactly how it goes. Way
that's
to
how the
go.
song goes. Yeah, that's the song now.
All right, Harriet, do you have any last words before you die?
I hope the guinea pigs are nice to me in the afterlife.
Well, you don't have a tiny, tiny little hamster penis, so you should be
That is
good.
true. I have a one up on you in
All
the
right,
guinea pig afterlife.
goodbye.
Bye.